organs will start testifying, but expressing themselves. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. That today we will seal their mouths, and their hands will speak, and their feet will speak about the things that they did. And in another verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا كُنْتُمْ تَسْتَتِرُونَ أَنْ يَشْهَدَ عَلَيْكُمْ سَمْعُكُمْ وَلَا أَبْصَارُكُمْ وَلَا جُلُودُكُمْ وَلَكِنْ ظَنَنْتُمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَعْلَمُ كَثِيرًا مِمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ وَذَلِكَ ظَنُّكُمُ الَّذِي ظَنَنْتُمْ بِرَبِّكُمْ أَرْدَاكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. That you used not to expect your hands, your feet, your skins to testify. That's why the organs will testify, but to express themselves, not to express the person himself. And then here we gain control over that, and the person will say that تَبًّا لَكُمْ إِنِّي كُنْتُ, that I used to do it for you, عَنْكُمْ سُتُونَ, that I used to do that for you, for your sake. So everything will testify. This is an essential meaning, my brothers and sisters. And the third person actually wants to get those two guards that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done. And like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala above all of that is watching. You know, sometimes if you're driving on the freeway and you see the police flashing by, then you slow down. You slow down. Now what if he's continuously behind you? How would you do that? But yet, this monitoring with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not occasional, it's not temporary. It's something that is continuous. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching continuously. That's why subhanAllah, sometimes we pay little attention to that. You know, imagine if the person is doing something that is not legitimate, something haram. He's in the room by himself, and the door squeaks, and he thinks that somebody's passing by. He will be terrified, thinking that somebody actually is watching him. But yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is indeed watching all the time, continuously. Not just the actions, but also the intentions behind it. That's why it's a really important meaning, my brothers and sisters, to instill in the hearts, especially of the kids. A lot of the time, what happened with our tarbiyah process, so to speak, is that we do not give any control, any guidance to the kids. We let them play on their own. And then once they become adult, we give them the whole responsibility. Here you have to be the perfect person, the perfect Muslim, staying away from the haram. Well, you did not teach him on that from the beginning. That's a big problem. And this is not the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ. It was said that Al-Hasan, the grandson of the Prophet, once he tried to eat from the dates of the sadaqah, of the charity. And of course the family of the Prophet, they don't eat charity. So the Prophet ﷺ told him, kah, kah, the expression in Arabic, like stay away from it. He says, don't you know that we, Ahl al-Bayt, don't eat from the sadaqah? And he was very young at that time. That's why the tarbiyah starts at an early age, my brothers and sisters. It does not actually all of a sudden, the whole responsibility actually thrown on somebody's actually shoulder. And everything has to be expected to be perfect as well. This is not the way actually things should happen. But the tarbiyah actually is a process. It starts from the early days and on. And even the self-tarbiyah, rather, the self-tarbiyah. Umar alayhi radwanullah, once he was overheard sitting by himself, he says, Umar, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says, Wallahi ya Umar, لَتَنْتَهِيَنَّ أَوْ لِيَعَذِّبَنَّكَ اللَّهِ. That if you do not stop, Allah will punish you. So here he's the way he's teaching himself that these are the things that has to install in you. That's why it's good, wallah, every once in a while, to go into a self-evaluation. And by the way, the early Muslims, they used to take occasions for self-evaluations. For example, they would do it on a daily basis, between the prayers, stops, stations, for measuring, for evaluating. And on a weekly basis, from Jumu'ah to Jumu'ah. And on an annual basis, from Ramadan to Ramadan. That's why it is good to look back, wallahi, compare this Ramadan with last year's Ramadan. Are you doing better? Or was last year's Ramadan better? It's not late. We still have, a little more than half of the month. And that's a lot. If I said one day, the Prophet ﷺ, as he mentioned, with one day it's 70 years away from hellfire, you can get a lot. You can get a lot from the remaining days. And sometimes with one day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forget. But this tarbiyah, my brothers and sisters, has to start from oneself as well as for those around you. And again, another concern, especially with the tarbiyah of the kids, is putting more emphasis in Arabic, how should I say, on the ayb rather than the haram. That this is something that is, in a way, more socially unacceptable versus religiously unacceptable. Now, I'm not saying the religious norms have to be ignored, of course not. There has to be some control of that. But the most important norms are those established by the religions themselves. Otherwise, it would result in a multiple personality. We come to the masjid, we're one person. We go to school, I'm another person. I go to work, yet another person. And we end up displaying different faces depending on the environment that we go to. Observing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers and sisters, is not only in staying away from the prohibitions. Observing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also is in perfecting what you do. Doing things the best way you could. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ إِذَا عَمِلَ أَحَدُكُمْ عَمَلًا أَن يُتْقِنَهُ. That Allah loves it when you do something that you perfect it. This is observing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as a student, to observe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you try to be the best. You don't cheat. As a teacher, you give your best. As an employer, you fulfill your duties to the best that you could. Not because of the self-evaluation that comes every year, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. And because it's an Islamic principle. أن الله يحب إذا عمل أحدكم عملا منكرا نكرا. If a person does anything, أن يتقنه, to perfect it, to do it in the best that we could. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجمعنا تحت راية لا إله إلا الله وأن يميتنا عليها وأن يجمعنا أخرى أبدية سرمدية مع سيد الدعاة والبشر في جنات ونهر في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر. My brothers and sisters, almost half of the month has passed. Subhanallah, so quickly. Maybe difficult, but so quickly. And just as quickly, the remaining of the month actually will pass. That's wallahi my reminder to my brothers and sisters to make sure that you make the most out of the remaining days. As much as possible. Even if you have not started, it is not late. It is good to set some plans for yourself. To focus, to organize your life, your schedule around Ramadan and not the other way around. Don't just make Ramadan be part of your day, but make actually Ramadan be the focus of your day and everything is organized around that. Like I said, it's going to pass very quickly. The Prophet ﷺ gave the Sahaba a great news. And to all of us as well. And that's why, by the way, the Sahaba used to look forward for the month. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ فِي كُلِّ لَيْلَةٍ عُتَقَاءُ مِنَ النَّارِ, about Ramadan. That on each night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would release some people from hellfire. So on each night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decree, on each night of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees that these people, specific people, will not go to hellfire. We ask Allah to be on them all, Jannah. It is not too much. Allah can just say one word and it becomes. And the Sahaba alayhi used to look forward to be on that list, so to speak. So imagine on each day, a list comes up. On each day, there's a list. Make sure that you make it to that list. It is not impossible, wallahi. Have the intention and put a little bit of effort, and it is not too much for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah can give. In the Hadith al-Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if all of my servants, the humans and the jinns, the males, the females, the young and the old, the early and the late, if all of them gathered and they asked for anything they wish, and I give it to them, it will not diminish anything from what I have. Except what the needle would diminish in the ocean, from the ocean if it's dipped in it. So Allah can give it. And the Prophet ﷺ says, when you ask Allah, إِسْتَسْأَلُوهُ الْفِرْدَوْسَ الْأَعْلَى فَإِنَّهُ أَوْصَلُ الْجَنَّةِ. When you ask Allah, ask the highest place in the Jannah. Even if you have shortcomings, by the way. Now you're trying to fix the shortcomings. But even if you're not there yet, even if you have shortcomings, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Him to make that list. Ya Allah, help me make that list. Help me be on that list. Among those that you will decree will never go to hellfire. And we can do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can ask that, Allah will give it to us. And on each day, the Prophet ﷺ promised that every person has a dua that will not be rejected. When the person breaks his fast. Shortly before you break your fast, you're going to eat no matter what. All of us will eat to the fullest. But take a moment, subhanAllah, at that moment, right before you eat, your heart is the most ready to make the most sincere dua. In any language, by the way. Make a dua to yourself, to the Muslims, to everybody around you. And after that you eat. But this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not reject. It's like a coupon that you're giving every day. If you don't use it right away, it's expired. That's why you might as well take that moment, make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer. Before I close, wallah, I would like the brother asked me to remind you that there's a Qiyam al-Layl tonight in Masjid Riverside with Imam Suhaib Webb, organized by the Muslim American Society in Empire.